Dun, dun. Oh.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to the show.
Hey. This is the show that we do periodically.
Yeah. I'm Jordan Brainerd.
I am Josiah Brainerd.
And Justin
I'm
is
here
Justin
again.
Brainerd.
He's very far away from his microphone.
I am me.
There you go.
I am the entity known as me.
So in this episode, we're actually just going to play Dungeons and Dragons for an hour. So I hope everybody enjoys that.
Yeah, it's just going to be us rolling dice.
Wait,
and
stop skipping to the next one. Stop.
My apologies.
No, we're not
Sorry.
actually doing that.
Okay, sorry.
Josiah's pulling your leg.
I did a great joke just then.
We wouldn't actually do that.
Big old goof right before you skipped podcasts because nobody likes to listen to that except me. So hey everyone.
Hey.
Hey.
I just rolled
Hey.
double, so I critted.
Friggin' nat 20 got that 20's D20 landed on the 20 number and now I win.
Done.
You guys are talking about dumb dragons.
I do the Dungeons and Dragons good.
That's fantastic.
Speaking of things nobody likes.
I think more people like me burping into the microphone than you even know.
No, I was talking about Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, okay. Speaking of things nobody likes, Apple had an announcement today.
Mm-hmm.
That announcement I talked about last time, it happened today on the day that we're recording this. What a bunch of disappointing things they announced.
I didn't see it. I only saw one ad that YouTube popped up, but what did they talk
I also
about?
did not watch the whole thing yet. I did some highlight reels, and it was a disappointing movie streaming service thing that's coming out later this year that's going to be disappointing.
Like we talked about, but is it actually really bad?
They have no original content.
it doesn't
They're just
look great.
reselling you HBO and Showtime.
Really?
It doesn't look great. And then they got their premium news service that's just like you pay
They
for
already have
news. Like who cares?
Now they're just making you pay for the news app?
You're going to pay $9 a month for basically magazines that you would have to buy off the stand.
Yeah,
That's
but like
stupid.
nobody cares.
If you want that
They're going to
magazine-
turn it into a Nook for a subscription to a gazillion different magazines.
They're trying to get more subscriptions because they're actually making their phones last longer.
Somehow there's still...
this was like services dot announcement, right? It was subscribe to this, subscribe to TV, subscribe to magazines, subscribe to the credit card. I mean, if you're not going to sign up for the phones, then we need another revenue stream.
Yeah, because their phones aren't doing well.
No, their phones are doing great.
But there's a lot of competition coming up for their phones.
No, okay. The phone has made Apple the first $1 trillion company in the world, right? The phones did their job. So now that Apple has the biggest stockpile of cash in the history of mankind,
Hey, we can sell you a credit card now because we have a big giant bank.
I mean,
what are they going to do? They're going to diversify
fair,
and think of
I do like the credit card thing.
great,
too.
and that's
I
cool.
won't
And
get it.
everybody who gets it, it's just passive income for them.
Yes.
So now that they have this huge stack of cash, they're like, what could we spend money on?
We're basically a bank now.
If somebody looked at you and said, if you had all of the money in the world, what would you do? And like when guys make a bunch of money playing basketball, they open up a couple McDonald's or something, or they like when an actor makes a lot of money, he goes into producing.
Yeah.
You know, how do you turn your stack of money into passive income?
Yeah. Because you're not going to be working for long. You're not going to be famous forever.
So if everybody has an Apple TV and it's cheaper to buy HBO through the Apple TV service than it is to buy HBO from itself, but you were going to go buy HBO anyway for whatever content you wanted from there, then you're done, right? So and since Netflix is going to die,
Yep, we talked about that.
Yes.
It's already dead.
since Netflix is dead, right? It's just you have Netflix. It's like we spent $10 billion on programming, and then Fox or Disney's like, I spent $71 billion on Fox. Like,
Yeah.
there's no competition, none.
Yeah.
So at some point, you have Apple, who's like,
People are throwing around so much money nowadays.
nobody is going to play nice with Apple. So all Apple could hope to do is be the wholesaler. They're going to be the Costco of everybody else's streaming service into their box.
Like, think of back in the day when Disney was just starting up. Like, that wasn't that long ago.
It was within our lifetime.
Yeah. Like
No, it
it
wasn't.
was like
Nice
our
try.
grandparents. No, it was within our grandparents' lifetime. Like 2 generations ago. That's it.
Yeah, there hasn't been that many people between us and Disney Prime.
Yeah.
1923.
Yeah. So our grandfather saw Disney open. Right?
Or if you think about it, you have
But
how many Disney feature films have ever been made?
True. Pixar, 1986.
1986.
For Pixar, yeah.
When did their first feature film come out?
Frick, gosh.
1995. Which
But-
means that
I'm just saying, like, for them to start up 70 years ago and to be able to throw around that much cash, like, that, let's throw around
no, but
billions of dollars.
and they didn't start with $1 gazillion, and they were
No.
on the verge of bankruptcy multiple times.
Yes.
But what
That's the crazy thing.
what thing now gives them total dominance of the marketplace?
Being in a monopoly.
Intellectual property, just ideas.
Yep.
Because if you're a designer there,
But
that's
the
their
story,
property.
the story of Aladdin, or the story of Beauty and the Beast, or how well they're told, both visually and plot and everything else, they own just stories, basically.
I mean, look around the room. Like,
Yeah.
You have all these different Disney dolls.
For listeners, we're in the playroom at my parents' house, and they have Disney dolls all over
everywhere.
the place from all of the different movies and intellectual properties.
So you got to figure that Disney didn't have a phone to sell. Disney didn't sell. I would say
They sold stories.
They're selling ideas.
yes, it was ideas. That's it.
But they're not selling their ideas, unlike Kathleen Kennedy, who sold off episodes 4, 5, and 6.
Who sold?
Rip in peace.
They
They are selling you looking at their ideas.
yeah. So the head of Disney Studios,
Hashtag read only.
the head of Disney Studios got on the news. He was taking an interview, and he was like, "So now that the deal's done between Fox and Disney,
Who asked us to interview?
we're definitely going to be fundamentally changing like a whole bunch of stuff.
That's funny.
Like we're just going to purge out all the." And he said, starting with top level executives. So
Did he say executives or executive?
every executive, like people, heads of creative who are duplicates, or who are dead weight, or who produced Solo and really screwed the
Or
pooch
sold
on
episode 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah. So every YouTuber I listen to is now rubbing their hands together like Emperor Snoke, going like,
We did this.
yeah. So hopefully,
We banned Solo.
like,
It's okay. Once she stops getting paid, I'll watch Solo.
Yeah. Even Christy brought it up last night. She was like, "Oh, Solo's on Netflix." I was like, "Nope. I'm not
not yet.
Justin. I'm not
Not
Justin."
yet.
Nope. Can't do
Not
it.
like that turncoat Justin. No, to be honest with you guys, I'm still going to watch episode 9 no matter what happens.
Oh,
Well, no,
I,
no,
will,
no.
I will see that in theaters.
Episode 9 is different.
Yeah, that
because
is a
J.J.
that is
Abrams.
a canonical, like, continuing the story movie
Yeah.
that actually matters for my life.
And they know they have one last shot to get this right.
And J.J. Abrams is healing.
Yeah, he's been told,
Yeah, I'll
we
go
know
see-
we screwed up.
I'll go see that opening weekend.
Please fix it. They begged him, so we're going to have a flashback,
just-
and Luke is going to pull a spaceship out of the sky with his mind.
Yeah, I really hope it just says 8.1 on there. But sorry, moving on. I got distracted by how much Disney throws around.
Hooray for IP!
Yay! And Apple did stuff today, and it was cool. Mostly not, but
Yeah,
So-
did they announce any physical products?
you could AirPower is still not here somehow. If you go to, there's a website for it. It's isairpoweroutyet.com.
No.
Yep, it exists. Is airpoweroutyet.com, and it's just a big no.
No way.
No.
Yeah, look at my screen. It's just giant no.
That's really funny. How'd you find that?
Is airpowerout.com.
Is that airpoweroutyet.com? No, it's not.
It's really
Just gonna
funny.
put this on my TV and just let it auto refresh for the one day it changes.
really
So
funny.
I don't.
No.
Again, I haven't watched the whole keynote yet, but I don't think they actually announced any hardware. It was just some subscription stuff. The couple of cool / interesting things they did announce.
Sorry, I'm still laughing about the website.
Oh, okay. One being their like Apple Arcade, where they're going to have basically a subscription service to a bunch of games in the App Store.
That's stupid.
So you don't have to go pay $5 to $10 per game. You pay $5 a month and have access to all of the games.
Which is why, as discussed, the ultimate subscription for Apple would be pay us X dollars a month and we'll open up all the movies and TV shows.
Yeah, like just $50 a month,
Yep.
$100 a month,
Yep.
and you just get
Go nuts.
we unlock the App Store and the iTunes Store, and you just all the prices have been
It's money
removed.
on the floor. I mean,
Because-
they're just sitting there like, we'll do it with games and we'll do it with music, but not with movies and TV shows. And we're like, come on, Apple, just
Come on.
give us everything. We'll give you all of the money. Like
It's just the ultimate Apple subscription, where literally all of their stores are just unlocked to you.
Instead of calling it
even the Apple Store.
TV Plus, they could just call it Apple Plus,
There you go.
and
And then
or just call it Apple Unlocked.
Apple Unlocked. I like that. And then the other interesting thing was their Apple credit card, which is a real live credit card that sits on your phone.
Or the physical card.
You could also order a physical card, but that's like,
It's titanium.
yeah. And it's just that. Like, they have a really smooth app for managing it and doing your payments and seeing your balance and transaction history, and it's really slick
And they
looking.
make money by if you don't take money out of your Apple card or your what's that called? Is it the Apple card? It's the black card when people send you money.
Apple Cash?
Yeah, Apple Cash. If you leave it in Apple Cash, that's when they generate revenue by interest. That's how they make it no charges.
Yeah, because there is zero charges to it, which is intriguing to me. I might
Besides
get
interest.
one.
Besides,
Obviously interest, but there's no like fees.
yes, that's the card to go with.
And there's rewards too, which is cool. And they don't cash out rewards at the end of each month. They cash out rewards at the end of each day.
Onto your Apple Cash card.
And the rewards
Not just
get
paying
dumped
towards your-
onto your Apple Cash, so you can instantly go
So it
spend all
goes-
your rewards.
It goes back into their accounts.
Yeah.
So if you don't like spend your Apple Cash, they're just still making.
I mean,
revenue on that.
that's the same thing with American Express rewards and stuff. All the rewards are just sitting on there.
No, it pays my bill.
Yeah, but for most people, it just sits on there.
Oh yeah, mine goes into savings.
Oh yeah, mine just pays my bill because I'm like, I just need less of a bill. You just pay me. Thanks.
Yeah. But anyway, that's pretty much it. It wasn't really that exciting. I don't even know if I'm going to bother to watch this keynote.
I
No hardware. Besides,
No, I mean, is airpoweroutyet.com?
no.
I can honestly say that Apple does their best when they're the underdog, when somebody else they feel like they're about to die.
Yep.
So
They need that right now.
I honestly think that everybody should go buy an Android phone
Yeah.
just so Apple.
Hey, everybody, Apple sucks now.
Yes. Here's what everybody go buy an Android phone for
Yeah.
like 2 years, and Apple will release a car.
Yeah. Like,
That's funny.
They'll really floor
Like-
you after
like,
that.
Well, because even Tesla has been like lowering the price of the Model 3 and firing workers
Have
and
you seen
everything.
that truck?
The semi?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I saw
but
it
I'm
for
saying,
the first time. It's
but
exciting.
Tesla has been doing things palliative care that they're trying to do to not die, right? So Apple, honestly, just like we discussed, I'm like, why doesn't Apple just buy Tesla and then say this is the Apple car? Like this is what we want. Just give us that.
I really don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
What do you want Apple to do?
I still
I
want
don't
Tesla
want
to be
Tesla
Tesla.
What do you want,
to-
Project? Do you know?
I don't want Timothy Cook to have any say in a Tesla.
Oh,
Because
no.
then he's going to put iOS on the screen and it's going to be garbage.
Did you know? You know what the code name for their car project is?
X.
For Apple's car project,
I don't know. Is it something dumb?
Project Titan,
Okay.
So Tesla-
I never
which
would
is the
guess that,
same
so no.
exact name for Blizzard Entertainment's failed MMORPG after World of Warcraft. It was called Project Titan. Never came out. It was in development for a decade. So Project Titan, in my mind, is already a cursed name. Like
Shoot.
this is Project Titan means this project is too big to succeed. This is too big to launch.
Yeah.
And it's just going to sit forever.
make
It's going to toil,
computers.
and then it's going to just go away because it's unlaunchable. But thankfully, all of the character designs from Project Titan were repurposed as characters for Overwatch.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So it was.
So they
Not a
didn't waste
complete
all their
waste.
money.
Yeah.
No, they scooped up all the stuff they made, and they're like, let's just make a stupid battle royale game. And then they made a bunch of free money.
Freaking
off of it.
Overwatch isn't battle royale like all the other games right now.
It's a first-person battle royale. Let's say
Is it battle royale?
Just say it. It is. It's not.
Well,
but
is it or is it not?
It's more like
define-
Vainglory.
Do you have
Define a battle
It's not
royale.
all the all. Yeah.
a battle royale game? Is every game out right now? It is the game.
It's everybody
where-
versus everybody,
yeah,
and you all run around and shoot each other.
You drop
Last
onto a
man
confined
standing.
space. There's a storm of some kind that makes the map smaller and smaller, and it's last man standing or last team standing.
Okay.
That is a battle royale. Fortnite has one. Fortnite originally was not battle royale at all. Fortnite originally had its own like game mode that still is in beta because they've just invested everything into battle royale because that's the only thing anyone plays nowadays.
Fortnite took off.
Yeah. PUBG was the first to do this battle royale style thing. Fortnite pretty much stole the idea.
Mm-hmm.
And
put dancing in
now there's Apex Legends and Battlefield 5 is coming out with a battle royale mode. Just because everything has to be battle royale. That's like the only thing people want to play. And I'm like, it's driving me nuts.
Well,
How many games?
You have to have players to do it. So it's really the players just go from game to game.
Yeah. I mean, you don't need a lot of players. You only need, a few thousand and you can sustain it.
Yeah. But a few
But especially when you
at
make
one
it
time.
free, like Fortnite and Apex Legends and all
Yeah.
those like free ones out there. That's the reason they're so successful because it's just your iOS game on
What's
your computer or
But
your
what's
Xbox.
your favorite like iOS game right now?
I don't know. Probably Bloons TD5. 6. I just got Bloons TD6.
What? That's the balloons with the monkeys?
Yeah, monkeys throwing darts at the balloons that are
They have a
trying
new
to
one?
escape. Yeah, they came. It's a little old, but I finally had some. I had like an Apple gift card I used to get it because it's like a $6 game.
I always liked those.
Yeah, it's
And
really
this one's not all laggy?
no because I have the XS Max. So
Nice.
Jeez.
no
The
problem.
10X Max.
Whatever.
You don't refer to it as the X, as I got rebuked.
Yeah, that's true. Please tweet me about it. I dare you.
10S.
Yeah.
10XX Max.
Probably that game, or I found a game that has been triggering my nostalgia. It's called Pocket City.
Is it like SimCity?
It is exactly like SimCity, but the SimCity of when we were children, where you actually got to like build a
SimCoaster
city and define the zones and make the police stations. Not the SimCity of today on your iPhone that's like, spend 12 hours to upgrade this tower, or if you want to do it right now, you could spend $2.
That's annoying.
Like just the classic freemium game that has no actual point. You're just spending time to spend time. This one actually is really good. I think it was $5. But again, I had a gift card, so it was like Frizzle. Yeah, I would highly recommend it if you used to play SimCity or you just.
What was it called?
It's called Pocket City. It's really good.
So there's no freemium part of it?
No, it is a paid game, and there is no in-app purchases.
Nice.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw there was no in-app purchase. I was like, I'm in, sold. Like I'm sick of in-app purchases. I'm over it.
Yeah. With all the, what were those games you used to play with all the clouds and opening up different parts and getting gold and...
Oh, like Boom Beach and stuff.
Yeah, Boom Beach
Yeah.
and all those other...
Like done with in-app purchases. If your game is good and it doesn't have in-app purchases, I will play it.
If your game is not a Clash of Clans clone,
comes in for the games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where Apple's arcade subscription will come in.
Yeah, they just say,
all
"Here,
the
go
good
for it."
games that don't have in-app purchases that are usually a $10 buy, but everyone's like, I don't want to spend $10 on an app that I might not like.
Well, and you might not like it or you'll beat it. Like, hey, I just beat this game.
Yeah.
what do I do now?
Yeah, I beat Balloon Beach. Like,
Balloon Beach?
Balloon Beach.
I mixed up a bunch of games.
Tower Defense and Boom Beach.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's just like you release a little bunch of army monkeys
Yeah.
to go kill
Kill all the...
balloons on a beach.
Well, that's good. That's
Yeah.
good to know. I'll probably download the Tower Defense game because I
You should.
enjoy those.
It's really good. They have some new monkeys.
I
and
like
stuff.
doing it on the iPad, too.
Yeah.
Makes me feel good because
Yeah.
it's all big.
Yeah. And you can pop them like so good.
So, Justin, remember when we did conspiracy back in the day for you OG listeners? We had a segment with conspiracies. Justin actually had a new one come up.
Oh man,
He didn't make it up necessarily.
No. I just there's like a whole bunch. So in my quest to watch all of YouTube, like my
Speaking of YouTube, did you guys see that PewDiePie finally got dethroned
No, he didn't.
by T-Series?
Who's T-Series?
T-Series is an Indian media company.
Oh, yeah, they've been promoting that a lot. They've
Yeah.
been pushing them hard.
Yeah.
My coworker told me about that.
PewDiePie finally got dethroned by them.
Because,
He's still the biggest solo creator there has ever been and will ever be.
yeah, but YouTube's actually been pushing T-Series, like promoting them.
Oh, yeah?
And like kind of blocking PewDiePie.
Why?
Just because they wanted the Indian market to like take off and PewDiePie to be dethroned. But in a weird way. Like they're like, nah, they didn't really agree with him, but he didn't do anything wrong. So they've been like really pushing hard in India.
So PewDiePie kept saying things that got bad press for YouTube creators, and like PewDiePie's big dumb mouth has caused adpocalypse, which is where they like screwed up the ad revenue for all YouTube creators.
Oh, yeah.
Like his big dumb head said something dumb, and now every YouTube creator gets less money off of their YouTube stream because of what he said. And
Well, he did set the standard for like what it means to be a YouTube creator for a long time. because-
absolutely, yes, he created a genre.
Yeah.
Good. But today you have even the American marketplace, which has, 300 million potential eyes. And then you have the East, which would be like between India and China together, you have 2.5 billion eyes, which, is only what? 6, 7, 8 times as big as the US market,
Yeah.
or of potential eyeballs, right? So you don't even, because everybody's eyeballs on a YouTube ad are worth the same, right? It's not like if a rich person watches an ad, you're gonna get more on your ad than a poor person. So you just want like massive numbers of eyeballs, and over here isn't the plate. What did you do? Is that the recording stopping?
No, that's an email.
Oh, okay. But if you have everybody over there watching, then YouTube just goes and makes money. So
Yeah.
when they're like, what content creators can we support that get more eyeballs on us?
Yeah.
Fine.
Because if you're YouTube and you see, there's only 300 million people here, and there's a billion people there. And
Yes.
The billion people are starting to get more and more technology into their pockets.
Yep.
So it's like, what are you going to do? Yeah, of course I'm going to promote there instead of pushing here.
Come be my friend.
I've actually never been to T-Series page because
Why would you?
because PewDiePie. I'm so curious. I just want to find. I searched T-Series and the top like 5, 6 videos are either from PewDiePie or about PewDiePie.
That's funny. So it's just using PewDiePie's name to get in his followers like feed. They'll make a video hating PewDiePie, but then that'll show up in the tracker.
No, it was like PewDiePie crying that he got dethroned and stuff like that.
Oh, that's okay.
That's fine. That's
You're
all right.
still enormous.
That's the free market. That's
Yeah,
the
they
beauty
have
of it.
they have 91 million subscribers right now.
How many does he
Awesome.
have? Like 30?
Like about the same.
Really?
Yeah, they like just passed him.
Wow. To have 90 million people looking at you
yeah.
daily.
Yes.
Wow.
1/3 of America basically watches you
So sort by most popular.
to amuse them every day.
Yeah. Weird.
So I'm gonna play the most. Wow, this video is the most popular video on the most subscribed channel on YouTube, and it has 700 million views.
That's ridiculous.
700 million.
Yep. I don't know if this is copyrighted at all, so I'm gonna skip around a little bit. So
You're not going to get a strike.
Fair use.
fair use. Pretty sure it's just a music video.
Oh, okay. So we have a music video.
It's not. It's in a different language, so that's
Excellent.
why I asked if I guess I would be watching it. But,
Yeah, it is super in a different language.
so
Okay.
How strange.
wasn't trying to be offensive, but
Yeah,
no,
it's
that's
just
fine.
like-
I just
it's not
This is
for
the
us.
most viewed thing on the
I don't know
internet,
how
is
it's
a
like
Bollywood
gosh.
music video.
Yep. 700 million views on this.
Honestly,
Music
guys,
video. That's
I
crazy.
think just every 2 weeks we should come here and just make a Bollywood music video because
And submit it to T-Series.
every
That'd be hilarious watching us make a Bollywood music video.
it's just gonna be us. This is
Because us
our
dancing is
just
not ideal.
This is us making a Bollywood music video.
But
I
back
think
to
we would get
Justin's
more listens.
conspiracy.
So
We
oh
went
sorry,
on-
I
off on a
digressed.
crazy train a little bit.
So I digressed.
Yes.
So here's my thought: is I was thinking about stuff
Okay, that's how thoughts work. Yeah.
when my screen time monitor said that I was down 30% this week to only 6 hours a day of screen time.
Okay. So you basically had your phone off all day.
Yeah. I was down 30%.
I was down 30%.
I was disappointed in myself.
Yeah. Well, week over week, it said you've come down 30% from last week to
Wow.
you're down to 6 hours every day, which is what happens when you use your infinite what is that?
Data.
Infinite data to just stream YouTube like it's background music.
Because you don't want to turn your screen off because then YouTube turns off.
Yeah, worst. So I'm gonna fix that someday. But in the meantime,
You have to pay for YouTube Pro or whatever.
yeah. So I absorbed half of the internet, and I was thinking about stuff.
Gosh, before coming down 30% means you, on average, you were at 7.8 hours a day last week.
That's some good math right there. So
That's
When do you sleep or work?
it's just background.
I know,
noise.
I'm just
It just
being
follows
silly.
me around in my pocket, like just playing conspiracy.
Why don't you have AirPods yet?
I do not have AirPods
Why not?
because they cost money. And
I don't think having Bluetooth in your ear for that long is great either.
It can't be worse for you than having your phone in your pocket all the time.
Yeah, but having a piece of like radium next to your head, like,
Yeah.
or whatever cobalt
Just ringing away.
transistor is in there, blasting into your head.
So go with your conspiracy. before
Sorry,
we
I keep interrupting
digress
you. I mean,
again.
I really feel like Justin in this episode. I am the interrupting cow.
Wow.
So here's what I'm thinking: is there's like a whole bunch of press about how possibly, like hypothetically, the climate's changing.
Okay.
And I tend to be the devil's advocate about everything.
Uh-huh.
If somebody brings up a topic, I'll say that's not true. It's the other way. So
Yeah, we know.
just
We know.
reflexively,
Yeah.
I'll take the other side, just because I like to engage in dual perspective as a communicator.
Uh-huh.
So I see all the news and everything, and I'm like, because I don't know, and I'm like, well, if it is changing, has it ever changed before? Right.
Yeah.
So then
history repeats itself.
So then I looked in a book,
Uh-huh.
and there was something called like the Ice Age and everything, and I'm like, oh geez. So it looks like the climate has changed in the past. Well, did man and like did the people driving automobiles when the Ice Age happened? Did like fossil fuels cause all that? And
Yeah.
I looked.
Was there even fossil fuels?
Apparently there weren't even automobiles around when the first Ice Age happened.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, well, that's odd.
Well, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
How is that possible?
Well, there you go. So
Were there
so-
cows, though?
So I watched more YouTube.
Was there airplanes?
So I watched more YouTube. And so apparently if you look at the chart of the temperatures on Earth, it tracks closer to solar output
I've seen this
than
same chart.
to
It's very interesting.
than to CO2 emissions,
So
right?
solar flares, you're saying?
No, it's just general solar activity. If the sun is being uppity
Yeah.
one year, then we get like the globe gets hotter.
Yeah.
And then if the sun is like I'm chill,
Like,
just
that,
hang out.
That graph almost perfectly matches.
It's a pretty good match. So
Okay.
then I heard on a completely separate YouTube channel that every 12,600 years, give or take about 11 or 16,
12,000.
the GPS people independently of the whether or not the temperatures are doing whatever they do, we have GPS coordinates on everything.
Yes.
Okay. Because the magnetic north and magnetic south of the Earth are starting to reverse each other, so that north is south and south is north.
And the pilots always have to compensate every year for that.
Okay, so they had to meet earlier to do the GPS thing. They had to meet a year earlier, or even 2 years earlier than they thought they were going to have to meet for the world to reset the GPS. So basically, it's moving faster than they thought.
Oh.
So as the poles shift...
Well, that's normal for them to shift.
Well, every 12,000 years they do this, right?
Well,
and so
it's a yearly thing they have to meet on.
Okay, but I'm saying that there's a big giant shift in magnetic, like they don't just spiral around on top of each other.
No.
A little bit. I'm saying that the magnetic North Pole will be on the south of the Earth.
When?
Soon, right? They're already starting to
When
lean.
is soon?
And they're accelerating. So it looks like...
So when that happens, is my toilet going to flush the other way?
No, that's the equatorial.
Yeah, that's how we're turning.
So then apparently as they're starting to flip, they're weakening, right? So
That makes sense.
So the magnetic field, which protects us from
Meteors
and the sun's solar blasts, is getting weaker. So we're saying that it's heating up. And so now we're having a situation where the Earth's magnetic field, which is protecting us from solar storms and everything, is getting weaker. So you're having more and more of a shift caused by...
Why does it protect us? I don't know that.
You don't need to have that much solar activity to affect us.
But why does a magnet protect us from solar?
Oh, because it goes around... The magnetic field basically creates like an EM around us where it shapes everything that... You have like all the charged particles follow the magnetic lines around the Earth and then just blow around us as opposed to into us.
Got it.
Okay. Which means, so we get the Earth gets affected easily and easier by less and less. It's easier and easier to affect us with solar activity.
Got it.
Okay. So we have a situation where what's protecting us from solar activity is going down rapidly.
And the solar activity is going up.
And so then they say every 12,000 years this happens. And then...
Why is it 12,000?
That's just the rate at which they've seen...
But we haven't been watching this for 12,000 years.
Okay. So
we haven't had that technology.
There'll be like lava rocks or something, or pottery clay that will harden. And if it has iron oxide in it or something, then the magnetic particles in it will have pointed to whatever north or south was at that time. So then...
Weird.
You have this boundary where right about 12,000 years ago, which is when...
what was 12,000 years ago?
So 12,000 years ago, that was... you have the last... Pre-12,000 years ago, we're in the middle of an ice age. You have a huge block of ice on top of North America, right? Miles high.
So where Canada is, basically. I've seen that map of...
Just,
Canada's virtually just ice.
Yeah,
we have an ice hat.
Yes, a blob of ice 3 miles thick.
Yes.
Okay, so you have 3 miles of ice, and then all of a sudden, poles shift. Something happens, and in a year,
was south on north.
Yeah, it was flopped then.
It was completely flopped.
But then it flopped to where we are now.
Okay.
This time, 12,000 years ago.
Okay,
and then you have global sea levels go from 30. They were way low because all the water wasn't ice.
Okay.
And then
how fast did this happen?
Very rapidly, like in a matter of months or weeks or whatever. Like the water just went like 300 feet, like just like.
Is that why there's cities under the water?
Yeah, so everybody was at the coastline where it was then. So then the whole world was like flooded at the end of the last ice age because everybody was living on their coastline.
Yeah, because that's what you do.
And then we find all these old maps that have, like people would draw a map based upon old maps, and when you look at this map, you're like, all the coastlines for all the land masses are just a mess. These people don't know how to draw, but then
they did.
But it looks like they knew where the lines would have been if sea levels were way, way, way lower during the last ice age.
Yeah.
Which means that
the
people knew
the water had to go somewhere.
And then they had longitude and latitude lines that were more accurate than we were before we had like a clock, like Greenwich Mean Time and everything. So 12,000 years ago, people were drawing maps of. So then you have this huge flood thing that went because the ice caps melted. Everything floods, and then
why did it flood and not just go in the ocean?
So then we go looking around in Egypt, and we're like, what happened? And you find water damage around the Sphinx that's about based upon erosion and everything of how fast things erode by water. They estimate that the trench around the Sphinx is about 12,000 years old, but everybody said that's stupid because there's no other nothing goes back that far in Egypt, and you have no other representation of a civilization that goes back that far.
Yeah, because we know like Egyptians weren't there 12,000 years ago.
Well, that's what they said, right?
They were more recent than that.
They said there's nothing there, and they said, so find us another example. So then they dig out this hill in Turkey that was just called Pot-Bellied Hill in Turkey.
Why was it called Pot-Bellied Hill?
That was just the name of it in Turkish.
Okay.
So they dig out this thing and they find a 12,000-year-old civilization that was moving around big giant rocks at the same time, and then. So they purposefully bury the city and leave.
Why?
12,000 years ago, they'd walk away from the city in Turkey.
Why?
Because it was just so, and this was all supposed to be like cavemen that couldn't even like pick their own nose. But it's like somebody 12,000 years ago told them how to make a big giant city with giant rocks, and then they just like covered it up. They abandoned it. There was just like this global blackout of knowledge. So you have all of these buildings that are popping up that even in ancient Egypt, you have going from east to west, like the sun was setting. If you look at the Sphinx, it basically looks at the spring equinox 12,000 years ago.
Okay.
Like the Sphinx was made to, you look at the arrangement of the pyramids and the Sphinx, and the Nile River is like the Milky Way, and the three pyramids are Orion's belt.
Wait, so the Nile matches up with
the Milky Way.
Why? Did they form the Nile River?
No. They just wanted to tell you when it was built, because when we did the what do we have in the Grand Canyon? The Hoover Dam. We built a star chart in there that was aligned to what went the day we built it, or the time that we built it. And the star alignment, how the constellations were aligning.
Oh, I see.
So we even do that ourselves, because if your language doesn't exist, then you align your big giant rock things with what the stars look like when you built it.
Got it. Okay.
So the Sphinx like lines up perfectly with the spring equinox like 12,000 years ago.
But you're saying the Nile is built.
No. I'm saying that they lined up all their stuff to be like, here's this thing we see, there's the Milky Way galaxy, so that's we're going to use that. The Nile that's already there is just our stand-in for that, and then
I see.
We're going to build three pyramids, and then you have all of the new pyramid stuff that the Egyptians built that we know about. They have there's old stuff in there that's like big giant boxes that weigh 100 tons that are cut out of granite that we could barely even cut and lift today.
Inside the pyramids?
But there's all this old stuff, right? And then there's all this Egyptian stuff, the 3,000 years ago Egyptians that built around it.
But not inside it.
They never ever use granite or anything. And all of the Egyptian tombs, the 3,000 years ago Egyptians, they all have paintings everywhere. And then in the 12,000 years ago stuff, no paintings anywhere.
On the granite.
It's all plain granite that's all fitted together perfectly with no mortar.
So the Egyptians didn't
It's just a block of granite, 100 ton. They have just a box that's a granite, and the lid and the box are 100 tons total. It was carved out of one piece.
What's in the box?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Or there's like black goo in there and they don't know what it is.
What?
But there's no inscriptions on anything. It's just a box.
That's weird.
Yeah, so they just have all these times. So it's like the Egyptians walked into all this giant stuff that they never could have built,
So
and
they
then
didn't-
just build their society around it.
They didn't build any of the Sphinx, the pyramids.
It was before they were there. So even in South America, you have these blocks that are like 100 tons, and then on top of it, you have this line at 12,000 BC, and then on top of that, you have little baby rocks that they stacked up to honor the civilization that they basically stumbled onto. That predated them by thousands. They walk in and they're like, "Whoa!" And then when they talk to explorers, they're like, "Where did the city come from?" They're like, "We didn't build this. We just built on top of it." Nobody takes any credit for these giant stones that fell into place somehow. And then right at 12,000 years ago, you have all of these Egyptian statues and everything that from east to west
So you're saying,
are like the half of the statue's face will be scalded like it got hit with a giant explosion. And
what giant explosion?
half of the rock was hit so hard with heat
Yeah.
that right about the time that there would be like giant solar flares because the poles were flipping.
Okay.
There was a big giant explosion coming from basically sunrise, and then it scorches all the statues and everything and blows them off of their stand. It just blows them off and scorches them so that the rock turns to glass. It was vitrified.
Oh, geez.
And then you have evidence of that in India. There's ancient cities that are vitrified all around the same period. So there was like this. They're all over the place. You have all this old stuff that was built by giant blocks,
And then that. And then a flood from the ice age.
a huge cataclysm happened. Right, like asteroid hits because we're unprotected. Solar flares hit, so ice melts. Water levels go up. Everybody, so all this cool stuff that we know how to build, everybody forgets how to do that. And then with the Sumerians and everything, we have to start building all over again. Yeah, I know. It was like there. I've just been sitting there, like when Neo plugs into the Matrix and learns how to do karate.
So, do you think an asteroid hit the big ice block in Canada?
Yep, totally knocked it, and then just everything goes kafoosh.
So that's why it was so rapid.
Yeah,
It wasn't like this. Oh, well, it kind of got hot and melted.
No. It was just like, brrr.
It got hit by something.
And then it just swallowed all these cities. And then because everybody was gone,
do you think
few
it was
people
more
survived.
than just Canada? Did it wrap around more?
Oh no! Like did the water wrap around?
No. I'm saying I guess the water would wrap around, but
Yeah, like global sea levels went up like 100 feet, like something ridiculous,
and a giant tsunami.
Yeah, a huge tsunami just went kasploosh,
because if it got hit by a meteor or a bunch of meteors
something like that.
around, there would be a lot of tsunamis.
Well,
Right? Because of an earthquake or something hitting the water that big.
they're saying that it vaporized we don't have an impact crater because it hit an ice cap. They have found other impact craters after that are in like New Jersey or something, or close to where it would have hit, like just south of it.
Yeah.
But the big one hit the ice cap and just made all of that ice just water, so it just spread out. And then if you look at like the waters being separated into the firmament in the ancient past, the firmament is actually a reference to a solid structure, and ice is a solid. And a great way to reintegrate that would be to melt the ice. So literally, I've just been like Neo learning about like all these big giant rocks and then they were even talking about the Easter Island heads that are on Easter Island.
Yeah.
They have bodies.
Yeah.
So they dug up an Easter Island, and this thing wasn't even buried. It was covered like up to so the head is like 1/4 of its body, and the rest of its body is just covered. And they're saying it was just by sedimentation. So it was just there. Like,
And then they got flooded.
And then it was covered up by sediment. Yeah. And then literally
Those are big boys.
If I could live at any time, I would live 12,000 years ago and just watch all this cool stuff happen because somebody moved a 100-ton block somehow
Yeah.
and fit them all together that you can't even fit. And then Egyptians found it and said, cool, let's, try and like the Egyptians who wrote everything down on walls and painted it and carved it into stone. Zero carvings and paintings about building the pyramids. They never mention it because they didn't do it. They just found them and they were like, this is amazing. Let's live here.
That'd be a fun place to live.
Yeah. I would just hang out. My only problem, if I went back in time to go live 12,000 years ago to watch all this stuff, I would have no way to get, there's no cars, so I would literally only be able to see what was going on in like a 30-mile radius.
Yeah.
Yeah, but just go back in time and bring a plane with you.
Just, you fly around the globe once and you're like, okay, that's what they did. Awesome.
Wow.
Yeah. There's
Bring a solar plane so you can keep flying.
big giant rock. South America, Africa, in India, all over the place. You just have this giant like boundary where everybody knew how to do all this cool stuff. Big giant flood and blast of heat that scorched rock.
Well, and
then like stupid people like covering the earth after that, trying to figure out what all this stuff is.
and that's when we got fossil fuels, dinosaurs extinct, all that garbage too.
Or, I'm not sure about that one.
Okay.
I'm not sure if that's when all of the things happened.
All of the things.
Yeah, because
When did because fossil fuel and diamonds, those come from a massive kind of creation, like kind of heat and smashing all at once.
well, diamonds you could get like with volcanism and stuff, like just extreme pressure and
Yeah.
heat. But riddle me this, Batman. Mm-hmm. In Egypt, they say that it was only a Bronze Age civilization,
Yeah.
which means you're aware of a Bronze Age
3,000
civilization.
years ago.
You're
Egypt.
aware of what Bronze Age is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It means that civilization was capable of melting and forming bronze into tools and weapons, etc.
Yeah.
So in King Tut's tomb, they find a iron dagger.
Yeah.
So
From my experience working with a forge, I know that it takes a lot more heat to melt iron.
yeah. So hang on.
He's eating some snacks.
I had an M&M. So they find a iron dagger in King Tut's tomb, and they're like, well, this isn't from Egypt. The Egyptians found it. They either made it from meteorite iron because they couldn't just find they didn't have iron mines and stuff. Mm-hmm. But even if you find a meteorite, you still have to melt it, and that means there was still
cast it.
Yeah, you still had to cast that stupid thing. And they say it probably wasn't even from the Egyptians. They tell you to your face it was probably from an earlier civilization.
But no one talks about earlier than Egypt.
That's all. So so I mean, there's like way more to this. And
Why was it in King Tut's cut? What?
because he was the king and he got all the coolest stuff.
Okay, so they found it and they're like, here.
Look at this super rare metal thing.
Yeah. Like we have all these hieroglyphics that were they have boreholes that are perfectly round, like an auger drilled them in Egypt. And
Did they have augers back then? Like big old...
no, but to drill into granite.
Granite, okay.
That we take diamond tip drills to drill now.
Yeah.
And it's an 18-inch hole that's like
18-inch hole?
that's perfectly smooth inside and out. So they
my
bored
goodness.
in granite somehow. So and you can't do this with bronze, right?
We could barely do that nowadays.
Yes. So and the Egyptians
18
find
inches.
Yeah, 18-inch hole
Goodness gracious.
and then it's on a cube of granite that's perfectly smooth.
How do we see this stuff?
So
Just Google it. Just say like 18-inch hole on granite.
there's different people, but
Just go crazy on YouTube.
there's like Robert Schock and different. Anyway, there's
don't
a whole bunch of
endorse all
people.
these
No,
crazy
yeah,
guys.
they're crazy people. But if you like,
You weed through all the crazy stuff.
you have to understand that something moved these stones into position, and it's like there's all this awesome stuff, and then like a bad thing happened to the whole Earth. And then stupid people were everywhere, like trying to refigure out how to wear clothes and like.
So why do you think these Easter Island heads were made? I'm looking at them on the internet.
Why do I think the Easter Island heads
What
were
do you
made?
think they represent?
you have all of these different locations, like Stonehenge and the Sphinx, and a whole bunch of.
What do you think why do you think there's a Sphinx too? Like,
No, just in general. Like in Egypt, you have the Sphinx, and it's set to line up with an equinox.
But why a Sphinx? Why a cat? Or whatever it is.
Why a Sphinx?
Yeah. Why that shape? Easter Island, those are like representing people.
I think
I
they
guess.
made it a Sphinx because when it was built, the equinox was happening within the constellation or whatever.
Was it like the year of the cat?
Yeah.
Like
That equinox was happening while like Leo was overhead and stuff.
Oh, okay.
So like they said, okay, so here's a cat that's watching equinox when it's here 12,000 years ago.
So Leo the lion.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're just sitting there tracking all this stuff.
Got it.
Yeah.
And those were around back in 12,000 years ago.
12,000 years ago. And then the Egyptians stumble in and
So
they're
all
like,
this mythology has been around for a long, long time.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, there's just it's the most fascinating thing right now. I'm just
It's very interesting.
yeah. And that's why I think that we're going to get squanched by the same thing that did all those people in 12,000 years ago.
But we don't have a big ice cap. So it's just going to like,
No, but when it reverses, we're still going to get solar flared, basically.
are we going to freeze? Like, is it going to get super cold?
No. Like, it's going to get weaker, so all the solar activity is just
Yeah.
going to go like,
Okay.
and
so-
then just blast our atmosphere off our planet.
And then once it's flipped again, the Earth will be much colder, and it'll make the ice cap again.
Yeah, come back. So, like, we see these things go in cycles.
Yeah.
So to say that, like, we're doing it when clearly we've seen it happen 12,000 years ago, like, and over again.
So that's when you're thinking it's going to,
We're like at 11,600
Yeah.
and something, right?
in the Bible, it says the elements will be separated.
Yeah, it's just we're just,
You're thinking the sun's going to like blast through it?
I don't know.
Or is the sun,
I'm just saying-
is the sun going to explode?
We just have all this crazy nutty stuff that happens every time the poles flip.
Because my theory is the sun's going to explode.
I don't think the sun's going to explode.
Because the elements, it says elements will be just dissolved, basically.
Don't know.
Okay.
So that's literally
That's my theory.
my conspiracy theory that
Okay.
I've just been like nose deep in, just based upon all the past archaeology crazy people and the GPS people that say it's flipping, plus all the people that say the solar activity is increasing because of the thing. I'm just like, yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
you know what I
I
think?
feel like Neo right now.
You know what I think we need?
What?
I think to stop all this,
Ugh,
we need.
song.
I'm sweaty.
I think we need the new Green Deal more than anything. That's what's gonna save us.
Yay! Can we talk about 12,000 years ago more sometime? Maybe in like 6 months.
Yeah, get us more info.
In 10,000 years.
Okay, in 10,000 years, I'll bring up interesting stuff about ancient civilizations.
I do like the heads, though.
I definitely want to cover it again before we hit 70.
Okay, you know, just in general.
Yeah,
So in a year, we'll come back to it.
yeah.
You don't even know.
Bye.
See you guys. It's
Email
been
us.
fun.
Email CrazyJustin.
You should-
YDEK@gmail.com.
But really, you should email us.
just in general. What crazy YouTube video should Justin watch?
Yes,
those
what
emails.
insane corners of the internet should we delve into next?
Yeah, that's dangerous.
Flat Earth.
Goodbye.
Bye.